position to see. Come, children. SJ, can you please stop? Okay. So the ankle has two different directions that it can get injured in. 90% of ankle sprains happen in what we call an inversion ankle sprain. Inversion means usually someone jumps up, they come down, they might land on a foot, like in volleyball with someone that's underneath the net. They might land on a ball, they might land on somebody else's foot, like in basketball, they jump up for a rebound. And what happens is their foot twists inward. We have 3 ligaments around right here. This is the bottom of our fibula. This is where it attaches into your ankle joint. And we have ligaments in there that are attaching it. So we have one ligament that's right here. It's called your anterior talofibular ligament. Most common sprained ligament in the foot. And most common sprain is this direction. And that's because when we try to evert the foot, it's much more difficult because our tibia hangs down quite a bit lower. It's more powerful. Our fibula up here is not as, okay? So what we are going to do essentially in an ankle tape job is you're going to put a brace or almost like a cast, and we are going to slightly be pulling the foot into an everted way to prevent the inversion ankle sprain from happening. The ankle tape job is very effective for someone who has sprained their ankle and who is going back into a basketball game or a volleyball game, and it applies really great support. Similar support you can get in a brace. The tape job is a good sort of in between before someone is kind of wearing a brace. So really important steps. First thing, the athlete needs to remain in dorsiflexion with the toes pointed up towards the ceiling. This is important because when we are walking, our foot is not in a relaxed state like this. When we stand and when we're moving and running, we are dorsiflexed. So we want to keep the foot in that position. So your athlete needs to do that. When we are applying our pro wrap, we are going to look at the calf muscle of our athlete. And we can see here with Kelly's, she's got her calf muscle is thick and then it starts to sort of taper out or it becomes thinner. That's above the area of our malleoluses. That's where we are going to start our pro wrap on the top. On the bottom of the foot, the little toe side, if you palpate, or what we call, that's palpating is basically a nice fancy word for pressing, you'll get to a place where you'll actually feel a little bone right here. Little bone that sticks out. That's the bottom of where we want the tape job to go. Okay, it's not right by the toes. We're not going to be taping here, but we want to be in here. So our pro wrap, we're going to go where the calf muscle gets thinner, and we're going to wrap it down to the malleoluses, and then we're going to go where that bone was, and we're going to go around the foot. So we create what we call a little figure 8. It goes around the bottom of the foot, and then it comes up to the arch. Okay, and that's your pro wrap. To start with our anchors, we're going to apply 3 anchors at the top and 1 anchor around the bottom of the foot. Our anchor at the top is going to go half on the skin, overlapping by a half, and we put a slight angle up to make sure that it is going to lay nice and flat. So we got 3 at the top, and then the one at the bottom we're going to lay on, we don't want it to be too tight on the arch, so we don't want to provide too much tension. We just want to lay it on nice and easy. Okay, the next step from here, we're going to apply what we call stirrups. A stirrup is going to come from our medial side. This is really important. You need to know the correct side of the foot. The big toe always tells you what's on the inside. The little toe tells you what's on the outside or the lateral side. When we start medial and we pull and put tension on the foot, that's where we pull it into eversion. If I start on the lateral side and I pull on the foot, I'm going to pull it into inversion, and I'm going to then make the athlete more susceptible to injury. We need to protect inversion. We're trying to go the opposite way, just like we did when we did wrist. So for the horseshoes, I'm gonna apply it on the side of the foot. It's gonna go underneath the heel, so I've gotta look on the bottom of the foot. I don't want to be in her arch. I need to go along the bottom of the foot. I'm gonna come to the opposite side, grip, and I'm going to pull up with tension. So pulling it into that nice everted state. Then I'm gonna take a tape to seal this one in. My malleoluses, the little bony part, the ball's right here. I'm gonna attach onto the anchor, and I'm gonna cross by those malleoluses, and I'm gonna place an anchor here. Okay, so I'm just going around and making sure that the horseshoe or the stirrup stays in place, and then these, we call them horseshoes. I'm now gonna fan the tape to the front, and then I'm going to bring it, and it's going to cross under the exact same point on the bottom of the foot. And then it's gonna come up, break, I let the tape go where it wants, it fans up towards the top. Overlapping by a half, working down towards the bottom of the foot. I'll do another one of the stirrup strips, or sorry, horseshoe strips. Whew, terminology. Okay, fanning to the back, around the bottom of the foot, letting the tape fan out on this side as well, pulling with tension, and then my last horseshoe strip coming around and ending there. Okay, so there's our first sort of two major steps. Anchors, and then our stirrups and horseshoes. And this is where things get hard. We're going to apply what's called a figure eight. A figure eight, we must make sure that our tape is going towards the medial side. That is your big toe. Figure eight, you're gonna start your tape on the top anchor of the foot. You're gonna be going underneath the foot. And as you come up along the side, I need to pull the tape out to make sure that it's going to lay flat. I pull on the sides to help it. I'm gonna bring my tape to the malleoluses. So I wanna lock in the heel joint. So I feel the bones, and then I'm gonna cross my tape on the top, right where it started. So it came from the top of the foot, it went underneath, it came up to the malleolus on the medial side, it went around the Achilles tendon to the malleolus on the lateral side, and then we crossed it at the top. That was a figure eight. Next one we're gonna do is a heel lock. This is the most difficult tape piece that you will have to ever learn. It starts on the side of the foot, not right on the top, but on the side. You are angling your tape back towards the heel. You're going to cross to the heel on the lateral side, and you're gonna pull up the heel. My tape is now back at my Achilles tendon. I'm going to go around the malleoluses. And when I get to the back, I want to make it look the same. I have tape that goes up here on the heel, and now I want tape that goes down the heel on the medial side. And then it's going to loop around and come back up to the top of the foot. Hard. We're going to do this combination twice. So I'm going to do another figure eight. It stops on the top of the foot. It goes underneath the bottom, pulling on the tape, making good tension so that it's going to lay flat. Malleolus. The malleolus is right here. I need to know where those are. Around, cross on the top, and break. Heel lock. Side of the foot. Bring the tape to the back of the heel. To get that little window. It's all right. We will take lots of time to learn this. You'll start to try and practice it in our next class, and I'll help you continue to build on that when I see you after the weekend, okay? So we're going up the heel, around the malleoluses, down the heel on the medial side, and back up to the top of the foot. Now we just have to close off. The first thing that I check for are any windows or any openings that I see. Okay, I have no windows. If I had a window, let's say there was an opening right here where you could see the skin. I need to close that off so that blood doesn't pool in that area and then stick the skin out and cause tape cuts. If I had a window right here, I would need to make sure that the tape that I covered it with went all the way around the foot and was going to be anchored off. I would never do this. Oh, it's closed off, no problem. Because what will happen, the athlete puts on their sock, and then this tape is going to just roll up on itself. So if I had a window, I could apply another, as an example, I could do another horseshoe, and I would put a horseshoe on and go all the way around to the other side, knowing that I'm gonna close it off when I re-anchor, so that that window is closed. Then from here, I start from the top, and I'm just gonna close down to the malleoluses. Doing our anchors all the way around. As I get closer to the bottom, I change my angle of the tape slightly to just basically go all the way around. Again, you are creating essentially a cast, so that is why it looks pretty intense. Okay? And then the last thing that I'm going to do, making sure that I close off that window, I'm going to apply one last strip. Not super tight. Around the bottom of the foot. Uh-oh, that's the bell. Okay?
Kelly, run.
Oh wait, that's the thing you did.
On your
For
foot.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Miss Carla did it.
Okay, I know you guys need